Thank you very much, Ambassador. Thank you for that candid testimony. I'll start with a round of questions and then open it up to the committee. I want to talk a little bit more about China's relationship with Iran and China's relationship with the Gulf. There is this collective freakout that happens in the Gulf when the United States enters into a diplomatic conversation with Iran. Our Gulf allies sort of posit to us that it's all or nothing. You're either with us or you're against us. And yet China seems to be able to have it both ways. China is deepening its ties with Iran and deepening its ties with the Gulf. Iran doesn't shut its doors as China gets more militarily involved in the Gulf. Is there a risk at some point that China is going to be asked by the Gulf countries to fish or cut bait, to choose sides? Or alternatively, why does China get to sort of play both sides while the United States is told that we have to choose?
So, Senator, I think I would differ with you on a couple of key tenets. Now, it is true that if you go back 8-10 years at the dawn of the efforts to negotiate the JCPOA, there was a collective freakout, no question. And notwithstanding regular efforts by the Obama administration to read Gulf partners into where we hope to go on the eventual JCPOA, there was great anxiety. I would not say that anxiety is missing as such, but it is the Gulf countries are very focused on the regional dimension of what Iran is doing, and this visit that I just spoke to by the president is the punctuation point of a body of work for the past year and a half, and will provide forward momentum on further such work that goes to assisting our partners with their self-defense, bolstering their resiliency, and networking more deeply in security, defense, intelligence terms, their ability to deal with the threats emerging from Iran's provision of arms to proxies. It is an irony, I'm the first to say it, that those UAVs that these proxies use, they're Chinese. Now, they're not provided by the state, but the state does not attempt to curtail that flow. I see the Gulf states in terms of, they have taken a different approach to Iran. They themselves have channels with Iran to manage those relationships. We have encouraged those diplomatic conversations. Are they going to hold China to account? I look forward to that day because, frankly, China is getting away with murder in some terms.
Let me present to you an argument that I find compelling but not persuasive, but I think it's important for us to talk about. And that is this. As China becomes more dependent on exports from the Gulf relative to U.S. dependency, some would suggest that China should, in fact, pick up more of the tab for regional security. Security of the Gulf, frankly, may matter more to them than it matters to us, and yet we pick up almost all of that cost. They have a bigger military presence today than they did, but it is still our guarantee in the region that matters. So is there any constructive role that China can play with respect to regional security, or should we view this as a zero-sum game? Any increase that China has with respect to military cooperation or partnership in the region is a loss to U.S. national security interests?
To be quite frank, as I said earlier, I would not want to see China pick up the role that we have had for almost 80 years in securing sea lanes and the flow of commerce and energy supplies for the entire global economy. It's a big job. It's a big responsibility. I'd rather it be on U.S. shoulders than Chinese shoulders, because that puts the dependency of our own Asian partners at risk. In terms of those energy supplies. There is a constructive role. China could play a constructive role vis-a-vis Iran, but they don't.
Yeah, China could play a constructive role. They aren't, which is why I find your argument persuasive. But I think it's important to have the conversation. I'll have other questions for a second round, but we've